Hey guys, it's Christopher, and welcome to another edition of Cut to the Chase. Before we get started, I just wanted to share with you, I just got the number 3 compendium in the mail the other day, and I'm already burning my way through this. I don't know if you're a fan of the show or not, or of the graphic novel, but this is so cool. Anyway, let's get going. So today's topic is creating a good character. Now, a good character is fundamental to getting the reader to invest in your story. And if you don't get them to do that, well, then you've got a really big problem. So where do characters come from? And how are they created? Well, as soon as you get an idea for a story already in the back of your mind, you begin roughing out the character that you're going to need to fit that role. As your story takes shape, you begin to filter out the personality traits that don't quite match what it is you're going to need your character to do. It's kind of a Frankenstein method. You pick and choose physical and personality traits from people that you've either met in real life, you've read about in books, you've seen in movies or television, that sort of thing. Now, once this part is done, some people think that they've got everything they need, and they take off and start working on their story. In my opinion, I think this is one of the biggest mistakes that a writer can make. Instead of a character, all they've done is they've created a fragment of personality traits, stereotypes. There's no substance to this character. And as a reader, it's easy for us to spot this type of character. They're really predictable, and we can see what they're going to do before we've even read the next paragraph. This stifles any ability for the writer to create suspense or drama or even humor in a story. The success and failure of your story rides on the shoulders of your character. If your reader doesn't emotionally invest in that character, well, that's death to any story. Now, one of the first steps of writing a good story, and something that's going to help you, is to create a character that's had a life before your story's even occurred. And this gives it much more depth and much more personality. Now, one of the tools that I use is filling out a character sheet. You can find a lot of these online. Some of them are really simple, and others so detailed you could literally spend hours filling them out. Personally, I don't like those types of sheets. I find that I end up documenting my character into a corner, and they become so rigid and inflexible they can't flow with the development of the story. So while my character has a history, that character's history doesn't dictate every single thing that they do. Instead, you want your character to be more organic. Otherwise, you end up constricting your imagination and your creativity. Here's a sample of a character sheet that I use. As you can see, it covers their name, the role in the story, occupation, physical description, personality, habits and mannerisms, background, internal conflicts, external conflicts, and notes. So in the role in the story, you'll see here, not only do I have them as the primary character, I could put in here good guy, what have you. I also put in a couple of the story arcs for like solves the mystery, learns to let go of the past. I'll do this so that I have these to keep track of as I'm going through the story. Occupation, pretty much a no-brainer. In the physical description, many times I'll include notes involving a side story and mannerisms as a reference. As I'm developing the story, I'll come back and I'll update these notes as I need to. In the personality, well, here's a tricky one for some writers. You can spend countless hours putting down personality traits before you start on your story. Personally, I prefer to write down what I have in my head and then just stop there. I don't sit for a long time and think up in-depth personality profiles. I prefer to go along with what I've got, introduce the character, get them through about the first chapter. After that, then I can go back and update. But this goes back to my habit of wanting my character to be kind of organic. This is the part of my creativity process. As I'm developing the story, I'm imagining how the character would speak and behave. What they would do and what they say does two things for the story also. It tells the reader more about who the character is and it progresses the story forward. Habits and mannerisms, as you can see in this area, I've left it blank. I generally will fill this out as I'm writing the first couple of chapters. They can range from a small twitch in the eye to a catchphrase. The importance of these for me isn't how the reader responds, but how other characters in the story will respond to it. I think that it tells more of a story that way, but that's my style, and it can be different for other writers. Here in the background, well, this is where you would create the character's life experience. I've only filled out a small part just to give you an example. I'll write down any experiences that play a part or relate to my story. So, if the story has pigs in it, then the character may have a very traumatic reaction to pigs. So I'd put in some sort of a horrible experience, maybe with a pot-bellied pig they had as a kid. I know it's a silly example, but you get my point. Then we come to the internal and external conflicts. Both of these are really important to generating emotion in your character and your story. Conflicts are a human experience, and this is where you create the deepest bond with your reader. In my example, I portray someone who suffered a loss, but the pain is such that they fabricate a lie to mask it from themselves. My character is tapping into a sense of loss almost everyone has experienced at one time or another. My character could have a completely different feel to the reader if I made the conflicts more ridiculous but still relatable. Like in the TV show Seinfeld, George Costanza has a phobia of elastic, and so he fears his underwear, and he doesn't wear any. And then finally, there's notes, and then this would be where you'd put anything that doesn't fit into the other traits. My character sheet is different from other people's. Mine gives me a reference point, but yet still allows me the freedom to develop my character as I need to throughout the story. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, please consider giving it a like. It really helps the channel out. Let me know in the comments below what you thought of this video, and also how you would create a character, especially how you would use a character sheet. You can click the subscribe button, and that way you don't miss out on future editions. Thank you so much for watching. You guys have been great, and hopefully I'll see you soon.